How do you get a job when you have many years of career gap? Of course, there can be so many different challenges that you might be facing, but the biggest challenge is basically in your mindset. If you have a negative mindset saying that once you have a career gap, it is impossible to get a job, then it's a big trouble. And that is why I think it's important to talk to different people, probably people who have faced similar challenges and who overcame that. And that is why in this video, I will be talking to Angelina Daisy, who after a 16 years of career gap was able to land a job as software engineer. Hopefully, her story can inspire at least some of you to hopefully have the faith and the hope that it is still possible to get a job even when you have many years of career gap. Let's start.
Hello everyone, my name is Angelina Daisy. I am from Vishakhapatnam, basically Andhra Pradesh. So I did my schooling, intermediate engineering, everything from Vizag. So after I did my graduation, I completed my graduation in 2006. I was into electrical and electronics engineering. The same year when I got graduated, I was married within 2 months of span. So after that, I couldn't concentrate on my career. After I had few family responsibilities and we were moving here and there. So that was the reason I couldn't concentrate on my career. Right now, I'm working for Motivity Labs as an associate software engineer.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Angelina. So from what I understand is you did your electronic and electrical engineering in 2006, and then
Yes.
you basically got married, you had kids, and you had some family responsibilities. So you had a long career gap, and then you got your first job in 2022. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, you had 16 years of gap. So you had 16 years of gap, and at which time did you think that okay, now I should start looking for a job? When was that you started thinking that you need to find a job?
During the time of COVID, all my family were at home, and so my son is also at home. That was the time I felt like I had to start my career. And one more thing was, I lost my father during that time, and I was too, oh, I was not in a good mind. So that was the time when even my husband asked me to get along and to join start some work and do something so that I will be moved from that pain. That was the time I thought of joining the Odin School.
Okay. So basically you got a job, but you did learn certain skills, right? Now, I
Yeah.
know that you did the data science bootcamp from Odin, but before that, was this the first course that you took, or was there some other skills that you learned or other courses that you took in order to get started?
Actually, after my BTech, I did almost many courses. Like I did .NET from a coaching center nearby, and then I did a Java course and as well. And even later, I was into website development. I was into this front end and back end things, and I was doing some WordPress development as well. I mean, I was just doing something like a freelancer. If someone asked some ghost content writing, something like that, I was into content writing. And recently, and even after that, I did many Udemy courses. In 2017, I did the courses related to big data as well. But I was not in a mood to come to work. I was just learning. It was my passion to learn the software skills. That's it.
So you said that you had 16 years of gap before you found your first proper job, and you currently
Yes.
work as a software engineer, right?
Yeah.
But you did some courses here and there, so that you don't lose touch of IT,
Yeah.
right? Because and you are
Yes.
not from IT background, like you did not do computer science engineering, you did an electrical engineering, right?
Yeah.
But in 2017 you took up some Udemy courses, right? And then before that you have done here and there a lot of courses, but you never worked. And you said you worked kind of like a freelancer, maybe a blog. Did you have a blog where you wrote some?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you did write some contents. Okay,
Yes.
but you did not work properly. You did not get a job as a professional, right?
Yes.
Your first job was in 2022. And
Yeah.
would you mind sharing which company was it and what is your designation, etc.?
Sure. Right now, I'm working as an associate software engineer for Motivity Labs. Right now, it is like I'm not client facing right now. I'm doing some shadow resourcing. kind of. Whatever task I have been assigned, I will be looking through it, and I have to go through I have to understand what it is exactly, and then I will be going through the coding and everything, and then I will be debugging if anything is working fine or not, and testing and everything, and then I will deliver the product.
Okay. So what technologies do you use in your current job?
It is a graphical programming language, LabVIEW. And apart from that, even we use JavaScript and Python as well to integrate this LabVIEW code.
Okay, okay, great. For how long did you take this? Because you took up a course in OdinSchool and that resulted you in getting this job, right?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
explain more about this course? And before you even explain about the course, why did you take this particular bootcamp? Because there are thousands of other bootcamp, thousands of companies offering bootcamp. So who suggested you this course, or how did you came to know about this one, and why did you choose this? Can you just highlight on that?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, as I mentioned, during the time of COVID, one of my husband's colleague, she just referred us. She said like one of her friend joined OdinSchool and they have been placed. So I visited the office and I got the confidence that this is the right step I am taking, and so that I can make a step forward, because all these years I was just learning or doing something, but my main intention is to get into a proper job, into a good company, and I want some kind of recognition like that. So that was the time when because of my husband's difference, I came over here. I'm very happy about that.
Okay, okay. So your basically it was your husband's friend. From
Yeah.
there you came to know there was someone who did the course and who got a job. So you
Yeah.
took that as an example and then you tried to follow that, right? Now coming back to your current job, right? Because you took the, I think, data science bootcamp,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
in this data science bootcamp, what were the different skills that you learned?
Basically, had been trained in Python, Power BI, and SQL.
Okay, so now in this bootcamp you learned these three skills, right? And before getting into this bootcamp, honestly speaking, did you have any idea about these skills? Had you taken any course to learn this, or when you joined this bootcamp, only then you actually understood these three skills?
I had some idea. I had been through the Udemy course for Python and Power BI. This was the first time I was going through, but database and Python, I know few things before itself. But the way the Odin school explained the concepts, the step by step, and everything was entirely different. I had a practical experience, what to do, how to do, how we have to um, do uh, do everything. So that is completely different.
Okay. So I think I understand your point of view, because in my opinion, right, lot of people do a lot of courses and they think that okay, this course was bad, that course was good, and etc. etc. But in my opinion, when you spend some time in learning something, even if you did not understand everything, there is something that gets into your mind, right? You slowly you build something, and then you find a course or a bootcamp which kind of gives you the complete idea,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And
yeah,
probably that
yes,
is what Odin School did to you,
yeah,
even though you had
yeah,
some here and there some idea, but Odin School gave you the complete
yes,
picture,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay, now so because the whole purpose of this interaction is so that I can or we can share to other people how to find a job when they have career gaps, right? So what is it that you think was the most important thing that you probably did that helped you to get this job after such a long career gap?
We need a proper dedication of what we are doing. We have to give some time daily, regularly. I used to spend around 2 hours after everyone used to sleep. I used to spend over 2 hours practicing each and everything. And the projects, weekly projects, which they give, the assignments and everything, I used to go through everything. And even they used to have some pre-recorded videos before attending the next week's session. So I used to even prepare that so that I could have some idea on what is being taught the next day. So that was how I prepared for this.
Okay, so basically, right, no matter which boot camp you take, which course you take, you still need to put your effort,
Yes,
right? You
definitely.
said you used to spend 2 hours every day learning, right? So that is obviously right. You cannot just do a course and expect to get a job.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
matter how good the course is, if you don't put your effort, you will never be able to succeed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you used to learn every day for 2 hours. And for how long did you do this?
The 5 months during the project, the OdinSchool Bootcamp.
Okay. So for 5 months, almost every day, you spend 2 hours in learning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got this job. We know that. But how many interviews had you given? For how many companies have you given the interview before getting this job finally?
Before getting this job, I had been through the initial rounds for 3 companies. Those were not. I didn't went till the interviews. Those were just the written kind of. I had been through the aptitude rounds and mathematical skills or something like that
And how did you get these interviews?
through Odin School.
So they recommended,
Yeah.
they basically referred you to some
They
interviews.
used to send our resumes to the companies, and once the companies are okay with our resume, then they will start with the interview process.
Okay. So basically, you had career gaps, and here and there you did learn certain skills, but you never completely understood what to do with the things that you were
Yes.
learning. And then you finally, yeah, and then you finally took up this boot camp, which gave you the complete picture
Yeah.
of probably what you should do. And more importantly, it you got opportunities to attend interviews,
Yes.
right? It was referred by the place where you did the boot camp, and you gave interviews. Of course, you failed 3 interviews. I
Yes.
think that's a pretty good rate, because if you don't fail interviews, you are actually losing a lot of things. You should, everyone who are watching, people get demotivated when they fail some interviews, right? But the thing is, every time you fail,
Yeah.
you learn something from it,
Yes.
and then you improve in the next one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So after these 3 failed interviews, you finally went into the job that you had. Can you give more details about how was this interview about? Like, what was this interview about? How you did, how you got information about it, and what were the different rounds in during this interview?
Sure. Um, the one which I attended after these 3 interviews was with Mototy Labs. That was a walk-in interview. I got an SMS from the Odin School that some interview is going on so and so place. So I just attended over there, and I had been through four rounds that day. So the first round was. It was like a group discussion, and we have to introduce ourselves. And then we had a written test on SQL skills and everything. And then I had been through a technical round wherein the interviewer asked me directly some technical questions. And the fourth one was something different. They gave some problem statement. We have to solve it. So after that, I had been through another 2 rounds, the HR and final rounds.
Okay, okay. So it was like a whole day
Yes.
process,
Yes.
right? From morning to morning. Okay. When people are having career gaps, I think this is a very common question. Didn't they ask you that why have you not worked for the last 16 years? Did they not ask you about this?
Yeah, they definitely will ask. Even before they asked, I mentioned that I'm graduated in so and so year. During my introduction itself, I told them that I was graduated in 2006, and immediately they asked what were you doing all these years, and I told them that I am a continuous learner. I have been learning so many things in between, so there is no need to think about that, and I have been learning so many things in between.
Okay, I think this is a very important point. The thing is, a lot of people can have career gaps, and I think it's very valid, right? You can have valid reasons to have career gaps. But when you go to an interview after a long career gap, you should, of course, you should have done something during that career gap in your free time, right? You should have learned a skill. If
Mm.
you have done some certifications, great. If you have done some courses, great. You should have learned something in
Yes.
whatever way it was, right? And then you should tell this to the recruiter that,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
even though I was on gap for 5 years, I did learn these things during this time, right? And I did these courses. So this kind of tells that, okay, you had career gap, but you are not simply sitting and doing something. You are still, you try to keep yourself relevant to
Yeah.
this job market, right?
Yes.
And that is what I think was your biggest plus. Do
Yeah.
you agree that was your
Yes.
biggest plus?
Yes. That is true.
Okay, okay. So I think this is something that everyone should remember, right? Even if you have career gaps, you, before you even are getting ready for the job, make sure that you're learning certain things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you have prepared yourself. You don't need to be an expert, right? But you just need to have learned some things, right?
Yes. Yes.
If you had to suggest someone, so let's say someone from your neighborhood comes to you, they say that, hey, I have 12 years of gap, 15 years of gap, okay, and they are not like you. Let's say they have not done any courses in these 12 years or something, okay, and they want to find a job. What would be your suggestion to them? How do you think that they should approach finding this job after so many years of gap?
They should definitely go through a proper guidance. They need someone like the Odin School or something where they can get a proper guidance of what they have to learn, and so that they can go through the interviews. The first thing, and next thing is they should not panic when they have some kind of the career gap of something. People feel like that is my negative point. So there is nothing like to panic. Everyone have some or other excuses, but if we can put 100% on what we are doing, we can succeed, no matter how much gap we have or anything. We should have some kind of hope every time. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you say mainly two suggestions, right? One, you need to have a plan saying that I'm going to do this course from this institute, and you need to learn whatever is covered in that course, right?
Yeah.
You do your research in order to find the best course, whatever
Yes.
that course might be, because
Yeah.
there are thousands and thousands of boot camps and courses and everything. So you
Yeah.
choose one, you do your R&D. Don't choose one just because
Someone told.
someone said it. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
do your R&D and see. That's number one. And number two, and I think probably that is more important, is don't be scared, right? Don't have negative thoughts. Have the hope that, like Angelina has done it after 16 years of gap, so anyone else also can do it, right? You just need to follow the path to learning, to do a course, and then you need to be confident that you
Yes.
can do it. This gap is not a negative point, like you said, right? Having a career gap is not a negative point. It's anyone can have career gap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I think that's very good suggestion. Now we have some understanding about your journey and how you have successfully made into this IT industry as a software engineer, right? Now, can you just give us an idea about how your day-to-day, like your work life looks like? Because you had such a huge career gap, right? And now you're basically new. You have been working probably for a year or so. Like, how does it look like? What do you do in a day-to-day basis in your job?
We will be having some tasks like we have to complete something in this span of time. So I have to go through the requirement completely, and I have to understand the requirement, and then I will plan myself on what steps I have to do to perform the task, and then I will start the programming and whatever I have to do. And if I find any kind of need help, I will ask my seniors, and they will definitely help me. And once I completed the task which I had done, I will go through the debugging, and I will see whatever issues are there, and then I will go through the testing phase. I will do the initial tests and UATs and everything. And once it is done, I will hand over the project. And if there is a need, I will do the documentation as well. Something like giving the guidelines of how to use it or something like that. Yeah.
Do you feel you have stress in your job?
Mm.
Do you feel it kind of becomes
No,
overwhelming sometimes? No? Okay. So
no.
you are basically enjoying your work.
Yeah.
And I think one important thing that you said is, and I think it's for everyone who is starting their career, a lot of people have the fear that I have never done programming, I have never done analysis job, right? Can I do it? If I get stuck, will someone help me? Or will they just blame me that you had such a long career gap, you're not fit to be here? That's not the case, right? When you get stuck, there are always people who will help you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even I have faced it in my own career. I have worked for 14 years. When someone is stuck, when someone is in trouble, there will always be someone or the other in your company who will help you, right?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
that you need to approach them. No one is going to come and help you, but you need to approach them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So when you are starting after a long gap, if you have that fear that, okay, what happens if I'm not able to solve something? Don't worry, you just ask for help. Someone else will help you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And especially when you're starting your career, I think for the first 1 year
Yeah.
is definitely a time where you can easily ask help from anyone. Everyone will understand that you are new. They
Yeah.
will help you,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that's actually a good point. Would you recommend this bootcamp that you have taken to
Yeah.
others? And why? If so, yes, why?
I would definitely recommend this boot camp because this is an ultimate experience for me. This has been a life turning point in my life. I had been through so many things, but only after joining the Odin camp, my life changed, and I entered an IT field. So I would definitely recommend it. The way they explain everything, and the kind of weekly assignments they give, and even they have a good career services mm, team, which who assists us in the way we have to give the interviews, the way we have to speak and everything. So um, even I used to have some kind of fear facing someone. So even I could get out of that only because of the career services guidance. So I would definitely recommend this boot camp to everyone.
Okay, so I think it was very good insights from you, Angelina. It was really good to know about your story. If I have to just
Thank you.
summarize, right? Because just to understand what you did and how you basically were able to achieve this success that you had a career gap due to valid reasons, and but during this career gap, one important thing that you did was you stayed relevant, right? You were
Yes.
learning few things on your own, right?
Yeah.
And you have done many courses on Udemy and maybe other platforms. You did certain things, but you never worked as a software
Yes.
engineer somewhere, right? Then you did this boot camp because you heard from your husband's friends about some positive reviews, and then you took up this boot camp. And in 5 months, I think 5 or 6 months, you took up this boot camp and you learned certain skills. But the
Yeah.
most important thing was it was not just the boot camp. It was also your effort because you spent 2 hours every day in learning the things that was going through in the course, right? If you don't put your effort, no one is going
Yeah.
to help you, right? So you put your effort, you took the courses, and then additionally for the interviews, you did get some assistance, right? When I say
Yeah.
assistance, it's just about pointing you to that this here is an interview, go and attend it, right? That
Yes.
is the most important thing. Of course, as a candidate, we have to attend the interview. It is our responsibility to clear it. But sometimes it is hard to know where is the interview, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
company is giving the interview? Are you getting shortlisted for this? And these things were helped by this boot camp, right? And then
Yeah.
finally you got into the interview. You failed 3 times. That is important because people think they fail couple of times. They think okay they are not fit. It's there are people who failed 10 interviews and then got a job, right?
Yes.
So failing is just part of your journey,
Like,
right?
yeah.
And then you got into this company where you are actually enjoying you and once you got the job, it's not the end of the journey, right? Basically your journey starts there,
Starts.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people get scared that I am very new, I don't know anything, how can I work? The thing is, when you don't know something, you ask for help and seniors will always help, right?
Yeah.
Every company that I have worked, there are always people who will help. Okay, sometimes maybe someone might have a hard day, they might not have time for you, but if you know how to ask for help, you will always find the help, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning of your career. And
Yes.
now you are settled in your job, you are doing well, and I'm so happy to hear your story, Angelina. So thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing your story. If you want to conclude anything, or you want to give some tips to any of the potential learners, you can give any tips that you have.
Thank you so much for inviting for this podcast. I hope this would help everyone who had been through the ca- a career gap. I should not say it is a gap because we are doing something in our life in between. It's not just the success is not just for what we are in the career or something. We should have equal importance for the family and everything. So I don't feel like a gap is not an issue. Everyone has some or other reasons to for having this kind of breaks. So don't get disappointed. Every time we start something, we should have some hope, and we have to focus on our goals. We have to uh, have some dedication. We have to think like I can do it. We should motivate ourselves, otherwise we can't do it. So I hope this could help everyone.
Yeah, I think that's
Thank you.
very valid point. It's not a career gap as such. You are doing something else, right? Taking care of
Yes.
your family is a
Yeah.
it's the most difficult job, right? That's
Yeah.
also a job. Just that
Yes.
if you want to get into professional field, it is possible. You just need to have a plan, right?
Yes.
And you need to have hope that it is possible. And you are a prime example of that it is possible, right? Okay, so thank you so much, Angelina, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.